Good evening, everyone. I'm not going to say people of the nation, of my fellow South Africans, because that's normally the start of bad news lately. So it's just how's it here from Slanghoek. I feel a bit uncomfortable. I normally don't shy away from presenting a wine tasting or even emceeing at a wedding or something. But this is it kind of feels like I'm stepping out onto a stage with spotlights on me, even though there's literally no one behind the screen. I do hope that a lot of you are tuned in tonight and joining us for what is something that we're excited about, but that it's also uncomfortable a little bit in our nature. But it's Prohibition 2.0 now. We got the curveball on Sunday for the ban of liquor sales. Hopefully, we were able to get most of the bottles of Barber Cinsa out to all of you. But I do believe that there's some people joining this evening without wine in front of them or next to them, or without Barber Cinsa in any way next to them or in their glass. We're sorry about that, and apologies up front for that. We ran into some logistical troubles in Gauteng, and everything was supposed to be delivered on Monday and Tuesday, only for Mr. Ramaphosa to block us from doing that. But we're going to make do with what we have and what we were able to do. I mean, saying this is strange times and interesting times is probably the understatement of the year. I think if I can take a guess and say that most of you out there are probably as me. You have to be in South Africa. You have to look at the glass half full most of the times. But I think the only thing that's full at this point is that we're all gat full. As to everything that's happening and all the limitations that's put on us, but we are going to make best. We're going to make the best of it, and we're going to try and have a fun evening. I mean, I know that most of you maybe have screen fatigue, gat full of Zoom meetings and gat full of team meetings. But this is now this is one where you can have a glass of wine in your hand and maybe share something or learn something in the process in any way. Just a quick shout out to I think a lot of people that I want to just say how's it to Umapia out in Hermanus and Liesel Miller and Paul. I hope you're in. I thought of just pointing out some people that said that they're going to be joining us. Irma and Naisna, Peter Rousseau out in Vier London, Errol in Kempton Park. I hope you're joining us tonight, Errol. I know that you didn't get your wine, but we'll sort you out as soon as we can. Helene Wege in Blouberg. I haven't had the pleasure of meeting you, Helene, as with many of you joining us this evening. But the idea of this, the collection of people that got the bottle and got the invite to join this evening is a mixture of friends of Opstal, actual family of Opstal, extended family, and then also folks that's supporting us on a regular basis, loyal customers of Opstal, loyal customers of our wines, and folks that don't need too much encouragement or motivation to purchase our wines and enjoy our wines. So thanks for everyone's support in any way through all these uncertain times, especially. So moving on to what this Opstal Family Club is, I think maybe important to tell you what's going to happen this evening as well. That I'm going to briefly go through what the Opstal Family Club is. Carla, our graphic designer, and that's juggling a lot of balls at the moment. She's going to run us through the website, and Zak is going to do my brother Zak is going to give us some viticulture 101 insight, and then we're going to get down to the tasting. So everyone should now have their wine out of the fridge. It needs 10 minutes or so just to warm up a little bit and to reach the right drinking temperature. So I hope that everyone has got their wine out next to them, with them. You may even open it if you want to, but if you're not able to control yourself once the wine is opened, not to pour the glass and drink it, maybe just pace yourself. And please, the stupid thing about this exercise is I can't interact with people on the floor tasting with us. Normally when we do a tasting, I try and get comments from the floor, or people ask questions all the time. But now we have to make do with this virtual platforms. So please send in a comment or a question if something arises. So what is the Opstal Family Club? It's not a wine club. It's not a discount club. It's not a place where you go for a bargain buy. That I want to make very clear. There's a lot of them out there. This is a club. I hate the word club, but this is a collection of people that associates with Opstal and with whom we associate. So we wanted to have more of a relationship with you out there, a closer relationship, and have you sharing in some insights and some benefits that you can get from the farm that we're not able to always make available to everyone out there. But having a family club, we're able to make certain benefits available to a select few. Carla, if you can maybe possibly pull up the benefits page on the website, I can quickly run through that, or Dirkie, either one of you can maybe pull that up. The benefits are largely around wine. We are a wine farm, so that's what we're about, and it's a place where we want to share what is true, what is close to our hearts. So it's maybe a Opstal Vars products, a produce box, or it's wine that's not available to anyone else, or in any markets out there. That's small batches like this Barberson, so that's one-offs, or magnums that we might make available to the family club. Vertical cases where we do 6 vintages of Carl Everson Chenin Blanc, for instance. We don't have a lot of that available, but if we want to make it available, we want to make it available to the people that we think deserve it most. I think then also Opstal is not only about wine. It's mainly about wine, but it's not only about wine. It's about we also have a restaurant. We've got accommodation on the farm. And we've got a connection and a network of friends in the valley that we want to support and share their markets, their produce with friends out there. So it's there we may have discount on the Opstal Vars produce box and stuff like that, but it's largely access to the family, access to exclusive products that we can make available, and have tastings, have virtual tastings, have regional tastings when the travel ban gets lifted. I would like to come out and visit Gauteng and visit the Garden Route and visit Port Elizabeth, get up to my cousin in Katu and have a hell of a wine tasting, and Dupi in Bloem. I know there's a lot of loyal followers in Bloem of our wines through Dupi. To go there and share like an evening with you is what we want to do through the Opstal Family Club platform. I think if we can move on to the website, I just quickly want to show you guys the family club page went live this afternoon, and we will require you to just go onto the website, go onto the family club page, and put in your details. I know we have most of your details already, and thanks for that. We were able to send you the wines, and that's why we needed the addresses. But also, we want you to log into the Opstal page. Like with many of these sites, you log in once and remember password, and you're in all the time, and that will give you access to the family club only wines on our Opstal shop, the shop page. So that's the main thing, the main benefit of logging onto and being part of the Opstal Family Club through the website. Dirkie, can you gooi up the website? Yeah, there we go. So that's the wines page. Is it possible to access the family club page, Dirkie? I know Carla is on a farm also in oh, there we go. Family club page. Carla might have some issues with electricity. We just got off load shedding at 6:30. So that's the family club landing page. You can scroll down, guys. We've put out all the benefits there. We sent it out in emails as well, so you guys must have seen it there. But there at the bottom of that page is where you need to register and put in your details to have the site remember you the next time. Yep. All right. I think I see that the time clock running, and we're not drinking yet, and this is a drinking exercise as well. So I don't want to keep you from tasting and enjoying the wine just yet. So I'm going to pull in Zach. He's got about 5 minutes to give you information that is actually worth one and a half hour, but he's able to congest it in a short package, and after that we'll get to the wine. So we'll get Zach onto the hot seat just now.
Hello everybody, welcome to Viticulture 101. Like Ati said, my name is Zach, but for this evening I think you can call me Prof. I'm going to put on my academic hat for tonight. So yeah, this is the Viticulture 101. Chris, I know you're taking notes there in Pineland, so next Sunday we're going to have a small little quiz. So yeah, you better study, eh? I'm going to try not to bore you guys with big words and technical terms, but I'd rather give you a background of what we do when we plant a new block of vineyards. I was completely, gereed in Afrikaans, and then this afternoon at 3 o'clock, Ati told me that I must speak in English. So if I fall between my words, just stay with me, please. We'll get there. So it all starts with the soil, and this is a 2-year process for us to make the best decision for the future. We need expert advice, and this is where we make use of Leon and Madeleine from Vine and Wine Solution. They are the experts which we use when it comes to our soil analysis and preps and stuff. So we will visit the block, and we will have a look at a few profile pits to see if there is any visual limitations in the soil. So I'm going to show you guys a specific scenario where we visited a 100-foot block which we planted in 1987. So it's 32 years old. And during our visit to this block, we saw that there were 3 different soil types in one 3-hectare block, which is quite difficult to farm with. I just have to get at the share screen. There we go. I just have to go to the share screen.
Yeah.
Just stay with me. Stay with me.
Yeah. Click op die.
Okay. Share. There we go. Is it live now? Can we go?
Yeah.
Okay. So just to show you guys. This is one of the profile pits that we visited. As you can see there where the mouse is, there's very large clay lumps, and the soil has got a very large clay content, and the roots struggle to these lumps. So they would go the easiest way of access, which is in between. But this is not ideal. Like I said, it was planted in 1987, so soil preparation back then was not at its best. So that was the one soil type that we saw. The other soil type is also very high clay content, but as you guys can see, it's a bit more brittle. But this soil is very shallow. It's only about 30 centimeters deep. The topsoil. You can see the you can see the roots only went down to 30 centimeters, and that's where it stopped. As you can see, that root over there almost went sideways, which was the easiest way to grow. So that is something that we have to look at. And then the third type of soil was in the bottom part of the block, which was on the river bank. As you guys can see, there's no limitations here. There's no clay content. This is a very deep alluvial soil. You can see the roots going down to almost 1 meter. So this is the ideal soil conditions for a vine to have a happy life. So with this information in the soil, sorry. Nee, ek wil vir my wees. As hy. There we go. So stop. Yeah, ek wil gaan nog aangaan. Sorry. So with all of this information, our next step was to make use of technology and have a look at the soil by doing electromagnetic index scan. And Jacobus and Bernu from Revolut Systems, they were our go-to guys for this. And I know a lot of you are thinking, what is the EMI scan? In short, an EMI scan is used to create a high resolution map of the soil variations in that particular block. And to show you guys how that looks. So this is the map. I hope you all can see it, and that I'm still sharing. So this is the map of the soil variations. As you guys can see here in the bottom part of the block, there's the river. In the bottom part of the block, that's the deep alluvial soil with no limitations. You can see that's the happy-go-lucky soil. In the middle part of the block, you can see the darker color, which means the more limitation, a bit harder soil, the heavier clay content. And in the top part, there are some limitations. That is where the bigger lumps were. So if we also make use of Revolut Systems with the NDVI and the vigor zones. So if I throw the vigor zone onto the soil map, you guys can see on the bottom, which is the no limitation zone. There is very little problem with this wine. It's with these vines. The vigor was good. There was a lot of leaves. In the middle part here, where the limitations is, you can see there was very little vigor. The vine struggled a bit to grow. And in the top part, there were some limitations, but the vigor adjusted to it by growing through the lumps. So let me just get back here. And I'm going to stop share now. There we go. So the next step is to decide what varietal to plant on this specific soil, and what clone and what rootstock combination will be the best. After all of this, we have to place the order at the nursery for the vines to be grafted for next year's planting season. Like I said in the beginning, this is a 2-year process. So we after we ordered the vines from the nursery, then fast forwarding to 12 months, we reached the time of soil preparation. And like I told you guys, with the 3 different soil types, which we could see from the profile pits and from the scans, we know that we have to do each one of those zones with a different soil preparation action with the earth moving equipment. And after the soil preparation is finished, then we can plant the vines. And that itself is extremely important to be done correctly, as it cannot be changed for 30 plus years. And that's it. In short, Viticulture 101. I hope you guys enjoyed the lecture. And remember to study for our next virtual meeting. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Zach. I know it's been 20 minutes or so now, and no drinking. So I hope most of you, I've received pictures on WhatsApp from friends, and I know these are thirsty friends of mine, Derek and Peter and Mia. That hasn't waited, that couldn't wait any longer. They've got one in the glass and one in the stomach. It's a chilly evening here in stomach as well, and probably not ideal conditions for the Barber Cinso, but I mean, we can't be picky, especially in a prohibition period. That I've learned, and that I've come to experience from clients and customers, really eager and desperate to get their hands on some wine. So why Cinso, and why the Barber? The Barber is a label that we created to pay homage and as a legacy for my grandfather. He was also Attilo. He grew up in Brandvlei in the Karoo, and I'm going to be pouring wine now because I think it's that time of day where we need to get wine in the glass. So the Barber, my grandfather Atti was he grew up in the Karoo and Brandvlei, and they lost their farm in the 30s during the Depression. The family moved to Worcester, where he, along with his dad, he dropped out of school at age 16, and he, along with his dad, started to work fences for the rich farmers of the Worcester region. And when he turned 18, he joined the National Defence Force, South African National Defence Force. Yeah, you can show the photos and the images, Dirkie. Thanks, Carla. He joined the army, and he went and fought in the Second World War first in Africa as part of the Allied forces, and then over in Italy when they moved there. While he was in Italy, he actually got engaged with the Italian girl. That didn't last, or well, he got shrapnel in the neck and had to be flown down to South Africa. And they didn't have the virtual world back then, so the engagement didn't last. Him coming back to South Africa, but upon his return, he took up his barber scissors because he started cutting his fellow soldiers' hair in Italy while he was there in war. And he got back and he opened a barber shop in Worcester, in the town of Worcester, with his friend Alfie Taylor. Alfie's grandkids are my age and living in the area still today. And so he was a barber for about 7 years, ran the barber shop, and then he met my grandmom, Ansie Everson, and they got hitched, and he put down his barber scissors and took up the secateurs and came to work on the farm. So this wine, the Barber label is a label where we play. We started off doing a semi under the Barber label. Some Parsons I'll pull in just now. He's a big fan of the semi line, I know. But this is the one that we did in 2018. 2018 was a peculiar vintage because it was it was still at the end of the really dry in 16 and 17, but a bit more wet conditions. Since so bigger, we had very different big differences in the block of Sinso. This block was planted in 1997, so it just turned 21 in 2018. And Sinso is a variety that has got a rich history in the South African wine industry. It was used very commonly with red wine throughout the 50s, 60s, 70s, and some very great wines and wines of note had Sinso in them, and become it's become very it's apparent that Sinso in the wine in those blends um, is has got a lot to do with the legs that this wine has, the ageability of these wines. And those wines were mostly labeled as Cabernet Sauvignon, Landgraf, Ronnebloem, Chateau Libertas. The Alto Rouge wine, for instance, got about 60% Cinsault in the blend, along with some Shiraz and Cabernet Sauvignon. And the Chateau Libertas was, especially in the 70s, had a big component of Cinsault in it. These days, it's not that much Cinsault in there anymore because the Cinsault plantings have decreased so much. Dorothy, I think we can pull up our friends in different towns and regions. Hello, guys. Just to introduce, this is Marika and Puna. They're out in Woodstock. Tim Parsons, he's out in Kings Bay. And my cousin Isak, he's there in Katu. And I won't be complaining about the cold this evening, Isak, because I'm sure in Katu it's much colder than here in Slangu. So on the wines, I think the temperature is nice now. I think I said in the email that this wine should be served slightly chilled, and that's why not completely chilled, so not out of the fridge into the glass. We kind of get time for the wine just to heat up a little bit for the aromatics to come alive and to show itself in the glass. This is a 2018 wine, and it's very much in its prime drinking age now. Now, there's a couple of questions. Tim, I'm going to leave you to ask your question, maybe that you sent in to me earlier today, or one of the three that you sent me at least. You can ask. But I'm going to, before I say anything else, I'd like to get a very nice and objective reaction from tasters when we do wine tasting as to what you're experiencing and what your first your first experience of this wine is. So maybe my right top corner, Isak, if I can throw the ball to you first up, what was your first initial reaction to the wine?
I think this, as I told you, is a bit sophisticated for me in the Kalahari to be drinking Sinso. But yeah, to be honest, easy on the palate, easy drinking. Yes, with my, I'm gonna say, limited sophisticated wine knowledge, I would say it's like a rosé on steroids. So something more in depth, to something to get used to, but really enjoying it here from Katu, and the bonus seeing the family there in the back, so now it makes the wine taste nicer. So thanks, Ati.
Yeah, we often use those other elements to sell the wines and to make the wines taste better and try to steer people away from the actual content. Now, I think you're spot on that. Just commenting on the rosé on steroids. This is Cinsault is mostly used as a red wine. You can make a nice Cinsault rosé, but this is something in between. I didn't set out to make a rosé. This was the idea was to make a red wine, but a very crisp and light red wine. And so this, you talked about easy on the palate. That's something that I'm going to that's something that I'm going to comment on as well, because that's my winemaking philosophy is built around exactly that, and that is drinkability. And I think for far too long we've got it wrong in the wine industry, where we've made overpowered reds, where the wine lacks identity and character and variety identity especially. And so this is just, I'll acknowledge, or I'll concede that this is to the far other extreme, because this wine doesn't have, won't age. It's very light, it is very easy, and there's zero new oak, there's zero tannins almost present in the wine. Before I ramble on too much and give away too many crypt notes, Tim, maybe your comments, your impression of the wine.
Well, I'm a huge fan of Opstal, and Carl Everson is a wine that's very, very dear to us. And we met Barbara for the first time when we came to one of your fantastic family lunches when you launched the wine. And I always think of Opstal as people who make delicious, gentle wines. And for someone that had hepatitis at an early age, whose liver is not capable of dealing with high alcohol volume and tannins and sulfites, this is a really pleasant drinking wine. It's got a lovely finish, and at 10.5 alcohol content, it's one of my new friends.
Well, that's thanks, Tim. That's I appreciate the words, not on the wine so much, but before that, and we value the relationship that we have with you over these years. And I think you're spot on. The low alcohol was to kind of make a point, was to show that extreme. So this wine was picked when the berries were still flush and light skinned, light red skin color. So far from being in the traditional mind of winemaking, phenologically ripe and ready for red wine picking. But going and picking it so early, you get the acidity and the crispness and the vibrancy that this wine gives you. And chill it a little bit and have it with a salad and have it, I always say, in South Africa, me personally, eight bottles of, out of every 10 bottles, 8 bottles is white wine, which I will drink. I lean more towards white wine because our climate, I think, leans more towards white wine drinking. And this is beautiful for a hot summer's day, to have this Cinsault chilled with a summer salad around lunch, or or even on the beach or on the stoop in the December holidays. This is almost like a nice appetizer and an aperitif to get the party started. Marika, what was your and Puna comments on the wine?
Ati, I want to start off and say congratulations. It was an amazing wine. And perhaps just to give some context to my palate, this is my favorite Opstal wine, and I'm a loyal and frequent consumer of it. So I was carefully skeptic when I received this bottle, skeptical. But I think I was so surprised tonight. I think what this wine does is it combines two of my favorite characteristics that you rarely find in humans, but thankfully you find them together in wine. And that's that it's light, but complex. So it's not a simple wine. And then, of course, the ultimate test of a good bottle of wine is a deep sense of regret that sets in after your first glass when you realize that you've only got one bottle, especially in this time. So, yeah, I'm really enjoying it, and I can't wait to get my hands on more.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Marika. That means a lot. And I think you're maybe a good example of someone that, as you say, enjoy the the more serious red wine, the Carl Everson Cape Blend. And interestingly enough, Cinsault is an important part of that red blend. It makes up about 16% of that blend. And we also have this estate red that we do on the farm. It's a Cabernet Sauvignon Cinsault blend. That's 75% Cab and 25% Cinsault. And that's also a play on the Chateau Libertas Alto Rouge wines of yesteryear, where drinkability, my dad also told me the stories of why people use Cinsault, and it's a practical thing actually. Cinsault is about more than double the berry size of Cabernet Sauvignon. And back in the day when the cellar equipment weren't really up to modern day technology standards, they actually used Cinsault, like 25 to 35% of Cinsault, to basically lubricate the Cabernet Sauvignon when offloading the grapes and receiving it in the bin and pumping it through the pipes into the big fermenters, because the pipes were very frequently they got clogged up by the dry, limited juice, small Cabernet Sauvignon berries. And so it was, out of practical reasons, and also because you had, it's a high yielding variety and vineyards, and so you easily get double or sometimes even 2.5 times the tonnage that Cabernet Sauvignon gives you. So your return on the farm per hectare is a lot of times better farming Cinsault than farming the classical Cabernet Sauvignon. But I say it was important in the heritage. I went through some stats. In 1990, 37% of the plantings in South Africa was Cinsault. That's 30 years ago. 37% of the plantings, the total plantings in South Africa was Cinsault. And today it's less than 2%. And that's down to the fact that Cinsault it's not a sexy variety. It's not Cabernet Sauvignon that's known all over the world. It is the 6th most planted variety in South Africa, and it does have its place in the south of France, along with the other Rhone varieties, where it's often used, together with Grenache Noir and Carignan and Syrah. But I think it's, bang for buck compared to a Pinot Noir. I think Cinsault over delivers every time. And so I've got a huge affection for the variety and working with the variety in our cellar. And we've got different vineyards on the farm that makes it possible for us to have different characteristics from the vineyard. Because this wine it's got some nice red fruit. There's cherry and strawberry notes on the nose. And then on the palate, it is that Cinsault gives you a lower acidity than most varieties, but it's easy and vibrant without being acidic. Mia, I see in the comment section, was probably one of the most commonly used good remarks on wine is Prusus not. I agree, Mia. And Paula Miller said very close to unwooded Chardonnay, but just the red version. Thanks, Paula. That's interesting. Irma said her first impression was sharp and somewhat bitter. And I think that's also an interesting one. I think but I think Irma, what makes bitterness almost an attractive thing is how it can be used with food. Bitterness. Talk to any sommelier from a nice restaurant that knows his stuff. He'll tell you that bitterness is his friend in the restaurant, working with food in the kitchen. And that's why you don't often see Sauvignon Blanc on a wine list, and it's because of that acidity. And you only see sweet wines when you have Riesling. Riesling's got a high sugar content, but you have the high acidity of German Rieslings that counter the high sugar content. And so pairing wine and playing with this wine and looking at what it goes well with is another matter and an interesting aspect. But I like quickly one comment on pairing wine is that, and this wine is a good example. I attended a food and wine pairing lecture one day that a lady did, and she said one of her uh, top rules that she follows when pairing wine is looking at palate weight. And so palate weight, pairing palate weight is you look at what this wine offers you in terms of palate weight, and that's light and fresh, and something that almost it's almost like a ballerina on your tongue. It's not big and sharp and doesn't sit there. So this wine will be again a chef's friend because it won't take away the spotlight from the food. It'll be like a nice backup singer, but a very good backup singer at that. Maybe is a good analogy.
We met Carl Everson for the first time at the test kitchen.
Oh yes, Tim. Yeah, and that was through Wave Kovlinson was the sommelier that picked up that wine the first time working with in the test kitchen. And then, yes, what does that tell?
It was the perfect pairing for exactly the reason.
I know, and that's the sommelier. Tinashe Nyamadoka, the Zimbabwean, followed up Wave at Test Kitchen, and he really knows his stuff as well. And I think there is a select few in South Africa, and especially we're spoiled in Cape Town with the restaurant scene, and my heart and our prayers go out to the restaurant owners in these times, because we will need to support them more than ever once they are able to operate again. Those who are actually able to get back into their kitchens and run their shops. From the wine industry side, this is maybe I tend to get off topic sometimes, but I need to for this one. We get a lot of love from customers and clients and friends of Opstal, and we're very grateful for that. All of you should know that. The people sending a message that we're supporting you and we're buying. We can't think how difficult it must be not to be able to trade and all of that, and that's beautiful. But also the wine industry is also doing its part in supporting the restaurant trade. We do it, and I know a lot of other wineries and producers and friends, winemaking friends that do this, and that is forwarding or being able to give the restaurateurs very long payment terms, even giving them 10 cases of wine when the hard lockdown finished and restaurants was able to open, even though it wasn't with drink. We said we will give a lot of wine for the guys just to get them up and running again, because we need the restaurant trade in South Africa to sell wine. The restaurateurs, they need the wine industry to make profit, and that we've also come to realize now. And I think it's important that we all work together. Thanks, Neil van der Walt, having the best time. Thanks, Neil, out in Pinelands. Laurens Boshoff, die neus is vars bessie, onmiskenbaar vir my. Thanks, Laurens. That's beautiful. Onmiskenbaar. Etienne and Relene. Etienne, I don't know why you are praising my English. I learned it from you, so thanks for that. Etta out in Paul, and I think maybe guys, I think I want to move on to just sharing where we are at the moment, because that's something that I personally took some advantage of during the hard lockdown. I eloped from our house in Rawsonville, and I came to stay in one of the Opstal stay units for 6 weeks, which was fun. It was like a 6-week holiday on our own farm and our own business. But this is I'm at one of the units, and everyone is out here. So hello, guys. Dad, Stanley is in front of the fire, or behind the fire, along with Chef Pia. We're keeping Chef Pia busy as well, even though the restaurant quiet. And I'm in one of the Opstal Stay units, which is also, you know, another lifeline for us that's able to generate another income stream, which we're grateful for in these uncertain times. I think, Carla, if you can pull up the what's next image. Isaac, Tim, Rika, Puna, thanks so much for joining and for taking part in the tastings. I'm very appreciative of it, and you made my job a lot easier. Thank you so much. Dirkie, if you can maybe share Carla's screen. Yeah, we're close to the end now, and I want to say to everyone joining in and signing up, thanks for joining us. For those of you that put the kids in front of the TV to be able to join, thanks especially for that. It's always, you know, fun for us to share our wines and to share our our passion that we have for this farm and this piece of land and producing wines off it. And I think this was a effort in sharing our authenticity, the authenticity of our family and of our business, and also the authenticity of the wines we aim to produce. So the Barberson, so there was only 660 bottles made, 2 barrels, and I think there's about 16 bottles left. So this wasn't a sales pitch to get everyone to buy the Barberson. So this was more an exercise to get people involved and to share, you know, opportunity for us to be able to share what we want to do and what we want to share with the people we value most. So in September, I'm going to be having I'll host a virtual tasting that all of you can join. It's going to be themed Spring, Sunshine, and Shannon, Master Craftsman at Work. And this, I'm not by any means the Master Craftsman, but I'm going to pull in some of my winemaking friends, David Sadi and Lucas van Lochrenberg, among others, to share their wines and their take on Chenin Blanc, a variety that we focus on and value most at Opstal, and I think South Africa needs to hang his hat on. And then in November we'll have a tasting that I think will be very interesting. We're going to be celebrating the ugly ducklings, and I say that in plural because one of the ugly ducklings is Colombar. So we'll be talking about the variety that is Colombar, and also we'll be talking about Colombar in hidden valleys, in valleys that would, you know, go through as ugly ducklings. So we'll be looking at Colombar from Slanghoek, from Montetjie, and from Priska, with friends and winemakers doing, you know, working with those varieties in those regions, sharing and joining on that in that virtual tastings. So look out for details and info on that that will follow and land in your inboxes in the near future. For the rest, be safe. I hope all of you are safe out there. Wash your hands and stay clean and stay safe. And by you know, just keep going and keep the faith. I'm sure we'll be able to share some love and some wine in the days, in the months, and the years to come. And if you guys are desperate to get closer to some Opstal action, please give us a ring or give us an email. And Carmen, she's got a very full and busy calendar with Opstal Stay, but we will love to have some of you come stay on the farm. Some of you placing orders of wine. We've gotten creative in getting wine to people amongst the restrictions that's put on us. But maybe I shouldn't say too much on that just now. Thanks, Tim, Liesel, and Johan Muller. I'll say greetings for my dad as well. Thanks for all the messages that's coming in and for everyone sharing. We really appreciate it. You guys must have a good evening till we chat and taste and drink again. Good night.